Welcome, good to be with you. Today, I thought we'd explore technique and we're going to work with Cobra pose, which is one of my favorite poses. And I've been practicing this and teaching this a lot in class recently. I think it really helps to do more back bends as we get older. And this pose can be very confusing for people. So, the things that we're going to look at is how we facilitate the pelvis moving into the back bend, the lumbar spine, the lower back, how that moves, the upper spine, the chest and the neck. And then we're also going to think about how the head moves on top of the neck. Okay, so let's get to the mat and let's have a go. Now, also just to say that I'm guiding from my body and we're all different. So please just run anything by your own body intelligence and your own wisdom. And you can obviously adapt and adjust however you need to. So there's a few principles for Cobra pose. First of all, let's just do a little bit of limbering by taking cat-cow on the exhale, rounding the back, and on the inhale, arching. And with these movements, have the movement starting in the pelvis, starting from tailbone, moving up to the head. Much, much nicer than leading with the head. Okay, so you can obviously spend much more time with this if you'd like to, but then when you're ready, lie down on your belly. Okay, so I'm going to be lifting my head up just so that I can talk to you, but you can have your forehead down. But obviously, if you're watching me first, that's totally fine. We're going to take the legs quite wide, so at least hip width, if not a little bit wider. And please spin the thigh bones in so the heels are wider than the toes. So if it's the other way around, it doesn't help the pelvis to move the way in which it needs to. So then you can also get your spine a little bit longer by just dragging the ribs forward and away from the pelvis. Let's put the hands outside the chest. And you're going to have the shoulder blades sliding down the back and the forehead on the floor. Okay, so we're going to keep the shoulder blades moving down the back ribs. As you push into the hands, well, you want to draw the back of the skull forward and up, and then lift the breastbone and bring the skull a little bit back and up, back and up. And what I would like to do here is actually move my hands a little bit further back. So the breastbone comes up, the back of the head comes back and up. And then right at the last moment, you can let the head go back. Calming down when you're ready. So I'm just going to break this down a little bit. The pelvis needs to tip forward to allow, because the pelvis and the lower back work together, to allow that curve to come into the lower back. The chest doesn't back bend a lot, so we want to create length and space. And then what you might do is you might feel a little bit of an arch of back bend coming towards the upper chest. With the neck, we want to bring the back of the skull up. So you're lengthening from the lower vertebra. And then at the last minute, we might let the head go back. So what often happens with Cobra is a few things. People have the toes out, heels in. So they have external rotation, which means that you get a lot of compression at the lower back because the pelvis can't tip the way it wants to. So we start with that internal rotation. The other thing that can happen is people shrug the shoulders up to the ears, which just feels really horrible. And then final thing that I see is people start with the head, dragging the head forward, lifting the chin and coming up. And then what happens is we have actually more of a flexion in the lower neck and then we bring the head back, which is just exacerbating this forward head position, okay? Where the head is here, like this. So we want to really bring that back bend from the base all the way up. So now as we do it one more time, let's think about the upper chest, the base of the neck, and then the skull. Put your hands beside your chest, bring the elbows back and down, internally rotate the thighs, press into the hands, and then you're lengthening the back of the skull forward. We're lifting the breastbone. Move the hands as needed. You're not pinning the pelvis in position. You're allowing the pubic bone to drop down. We lift the breastbone. I'm bringing the back of the skull a little bit back. And then I'm going to lift my chin. Shoulder blades down the back. And when you come down, notice how you feel. You can rest, you can sway your hips. So again, if we lead with the head, you're not really getting the back bend in the lower neck spine or the upper chest. We need to allow the pelvis to tip. So the leg position makes a difference. And you want the shoulder blades to be down the back. Okay, so it's really worth noting how you feel after you do these poses, because there's an energetic shift. So not only are back bends helping to alleviate the tendency, especially as we get older, to be more rounded, more slumped, and it might be emotionally we sort of close in if we have a lot of experiences which can bring us into that more protective sort of space. But they can also have this incredibly enlivening effect on our energy, which can help when times are tough. All right. So practice with care, trust yourself, try things on, see how they work. And you're very welcome to ask me any questions. So this is very much how I work in my classes. I like to break things down. We'll keep things moving, keep things flowing. But always I'm very keen to educate people to really enjoy their bodies and get the most out of the pose and see how it can sort of feed it into everyday life. So it's not, your yoga isn't just something you do on the mat, but it's something that supports how you move through the world. So thank you for your kind attention and have an amazing day, and I hope to see you soon.